The purpose of this video is to provide an overview of 5 of the 6 city fire stations and their current state of well-being. These 5 stations were all built in the 60s and early 70s, and many of them have reached the end of their useful life expectancy. With that, and as you see the following video that is led in part by Assistant Chief Jay Forrester, you'll be able to get a sense of where 5 of those 6 stations are and the reason 5 of the 6 stations are in need of replacement.
We're out of space in all of our fire stations. We have equipment that is stuffed in these stations to the point where we have no more room to safely operate. As you can see here, these are our rows of firefighters' gear and where it's stored on the apparatus floor. And you can see there's not a lot of room. So the firefighters either come in and they're either getting on the engine or they're getting on the ladder. The trucks start up before we leave, and they may start up while we're getting dressed. The exhaust is going right onto their gear or onto them as they get dressed. And you can see there's just not a lot of room here. It's not real safe. This engine could get full and they're pulling out the door and someone's trying to get dressed, a foot from where it's driving. This is a walkway here, and we have, the truck sticks way out. You can see here we have just general storage against the wall, cabinets, also more gear racks for our firefighters that are wedged in against the wall over here. This is the actual bay that was added on to this station back in '92, but you can see it's already, at capacity here. We have the trucks kind of wedged in here so they'll fit. This is the ladder truck at Station 4. You can see this one's a little different. The ladder's on top of the truck within inches of hitting it when we leave. Matter of fact, this truck's actually struck the back coming in because the door, the ice was built up and caused issues. This is Station 5, so you can see a pretty similar layout, but even less room in this station. You can see we have a boat here, the brush fire unit, and then washer and dryer actually out here on the floor versus back in the utility room. There's two actual engines here. We're just out of space, so we had to put this one here. Normally, we would want this truck to be able to pull in from the back so they wouldn't have to back in off on the busy street out there. The boat we have here at the station, you can see we really don't have any room for it. Just sits in between the trucks on the apparatus floor. There's no office space in them for our officers to work in. There's no space for firefighters to stay if we have an event where they need to be here on a long-term basis, over 24 hours. And then we don't have any training capacity in these stations. We can't sit down and do a training session with our firefighters in these stations, currently how they're constructed. This is called the day room, training room. You can see it's kind of a multi-purpose room. And this is the same room we'd use for training. So if we want to run a classroom setting, they'd be sitting in couches and chairs. And there's still a bar in here that's obviously not used as a bar, but it's still here from back in the day. It's very difficult to hold any kind of classroom training at all in this room. This is the only office space they have, and it's not intended for that. It's really more of a computer to enter our fire numbers and a radio. This is the kitchen, and you can see pretty small. Not enough for maybe a couple people to fit in here. Our bathroom facilities in these stations are just inadequate. Back in the day when these were built, women weren't in the fire service, but obviously they are now, so it's important that we get up to speed on those facilities as well and have a locker room, have a spot for firefighters that can clean off and take showers or whatever they have to do after a fire. This is a woman's bathroom. And like I said, we have a lot of women on the department, and it's, that's it. There's nothing like a shower or something for them. There's no room in there. This is the men's bathroom at Station 2. You can see it's just isn't a lot to it. There's this study that was done on the structures of the building. A consultant that came in and said these structures are no longer efficient. It would be cheaper for them to tear them down and rebuild than to try to maintain them over the next 10 years. A lot of what you see in the station today is what was here when it was built. So all the the lighting, the walls, the plumbing, electrical, all was basically here when these stations were built. very, very dirty from the soot, from the diesel fumes that come out of the trucks. There's no real way to capture that in these older stations. This is what's called a hose tower. The only way to access the catwalk up there is to climb the ship's ladder. On a newer hose tower, you'd have stairs. You wouldn't have to climb a ship's ladder.
You've seen the condition of the stations, you've seen some of our shortcomings and some of the issues. In addition to the engineering study that was done by the Department of Public Works, we feel that a program to begin replacement of these fire stations is important for the long-term infrastructure needs of the city. These 5 stations are obviously very important to the ongoing health and well-being of the fire department and our ability to respond to emergencies in the city. We appreciate your consideration in this.